Hey everyone, welcome back to Malaysia in Focus, the channel where we break down the biggest stories shaping our country. Today, we're digging into a high-stakes balancing act. Because behind all the headlines, Malaysia is quietly executing a crucial two-front strategy, juggling global chaos on one hand and massive national ambition on the other. This is the game plan that will define our future. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we have to start with this quote. Now, this isn't from some pundit or analyst. This is from the government's own economic report. It perfectly captures the world we're in now, these post-normal times, where it feels like everything is happening at once. Geopolitical tensions, trade wars, climate change. It's not a neat line of problems anymore. It's a storm hitting from all sides.
Now, before we get into how we're navigating that storm, we need to talk about where we're coming from. Because 2025 was a massive year for Malaysia on the world stage, especially with our role as the chair of ASEAN. We really built up some serious momentum.
I mean, look at what was achieved under Malaysia's leadership. We pushed forward a huge new digital economy agreement. We set up a task force to navigate these messy new economic battlegrounds. And we even helped lay out a vision for the entire region for the next couple of decades. These aren't just fancy names on a document. This was real, tangible progress in getting ASEAN ready for what's coming.
So, 2025 was a win, no doubt. But now we have to face the music of that post-normal world we were talking about. A world where, honestly, you can't tell where global politics ends and economics begins. The lines are completely blurred.
And there's a key word we all need to get familiar with: geoeconomics. Put simply, it's when countries use their money, their technology, and their trade policies as weapons to get what they want politically. So instead of armies, you're fighting global rivalries with economic moves. It's a whole new battlefield. And this right here, this is the heart of the problem. It's that all-at-once idea from the government report. It's constant pressure, coming from every direction, and it creates a level of uncertainty that is, frankly, unprecedented. This is the new normal that we have to plan for.
So how do we do that? Well, this brings us to the first of the two battlefronts in Malaysia's game plan, the external arena. This is all about our strategy for keeping ASEAN stable, united, and moving forward. For 2026, Malaysia is passing the ASEAN chairmanship baton over to the Philippines. And you can see they're keen to continue the economic work we started. But they've also got some really tough political issues on their plate. Things like the South China Sea tensions and the never-ending crisis in Myanmar. Now, this is where a really fascinating strategy for the whole region comes into play. You have the big global powers fighting over super advanced, high-end technology, right? The idea here is for ASEAN to cleverly position itself as the world's go-to hub for essential middle technology, especially in things like the semiconductor supply chain. By being that reliable, neutral player, the region becomes indispensable to everyone, which is a great way to ride out those geopolitical storms. If this breakdown is giving you a clearer picture, hit like and subscribe so you'll always stay ahead on Malaysia's biggest issues. That external strategy is absolutely crucial. But here's the thing. It's pretty hard to lead a region if your own house isn't in order. And that leads to the million-dollar question. In the middle of all this chaos, what's our anchor? What gives us the stability and strength to lead from the front? And the answer brings us to our second front, the internal arena. This is all about our domestic strategy, centered around the economy MADANI framework. You can think of this as the foundation. We have to build a strong foundation at home so that we can stand tall on the world stage. So, what is economy MADANI in simple terms? Let's cut through the jargon. At its heart, it's a national plan to rebuild our economy from the inside out. The big goal here is to shift the focus from just GDP numbers to things that actually matter to you and me, improving our quality of life and making sure that when the country does well, everybody feels it in their pockets. The master plan to make this happen is the 13th Malaysia Plan, or 13MP. For anyone who doesn't know, this is our nation's 5-year development roadmap. And its strategy is actually pretty simple to understand, but powerful. It's about raising the ceiling by making our industries more advanced and cleaning up governance, while also raising the floor with better social safety nets and help with the cost of living. It's a 1-2 punch to make Malaysia both wealthier and fairer. And believe me, this plan comes with some seriously ambitious targets. First one, the goal is to get Malaysia into the top 12 most competitive economies on the entire planet. Let's be clear, that's a huge jump, and it shows we're aiming to play in the big leagues. Second, it's about getting our national finances in shape. The plan is to shrink our fiscal deficit, which is just the gap between what the government spends and what it earns, to below 3%.
Why does that matter to you? Well, a smaller deficit means a stronger, more stable economy and less debt for our kids to deal with later. And this third target is so important because it links all the economic stuff directly to good governance. The goal is to climb into the top 25 on the Corruption Perception Index. The message is simple. You just can't build a world-class economy without world-class integrity. So where are we now? This table gives us a bit of a reality check. You can see we're making progress, but we've still got a ways to go. Getting more women into the workforce is critical, and we're inching closer to that 60% target. But look at compensation of employees. That's basically the slice of the economic pie that goes to workers as wages. It's going up, but hitting that 40% goal is a massive challenge. Getting that right would mean a real difference in spending power for Malaysian families. The journey has begun, but the tough climbs are still ahead.
Okay, so we've looked at the external plan for ASEAN, and we've looked at the internal plan with Ekonomi Madani. Now we have to see how they connect, because real success in 2026 is going to depend on both of these fronts working together perfectly.
And the very first big test of this whole two-front strategy? It's going to be Budget 2026. Why is it so important? Because it's the first budget under the brand new 13th Malaysia Plan. This is the moment where all the ambitious ideas and big targets have to turn into actual ringgit and sen. This is where the blueprint becomes reality. And this slide right here really brings it all home. This is the most important takeaway. The two fronts, our domestic health and our regional leadership, they're not separate issues. They are totally dependent on each other. A strong, stable, prosperous Malaysia makes for a stronger, more credible ASEAN. And the stable, integrated ASEAN creates the secure neighborhood we need for our own economy to grow. It's a loop. One can't work without the other. Thanks for watching. Join thousands of Malaysians who want clarity, not confusion. Tap like, hit subscribe, and let's keep making sense of this together.
So we end with this big question. In this messy, post-normal world, Malaysia has a clear and very ambitious plan to fight on two fronts. But with crises hitting all at once, the ultimate test is whether this dual strategy will be enough to build the resilient, prosperous future we're all hoping for. The plan is on the table. Now, the real work begins.